talking about here. The generational commission rewards you for everybody that you bring onto your sales team. So everybody that you personally enroll, you will get 30% of the generational pay that is attached to that product. Again, I'm not going to go into a whole lot of details, but every product in the marketplace and every disrupt product and package and bundle, it's a lot of words, has commissionable volume and what we call generational pay, or gen pay for short. So there's CV and GP attached to every product. Everybody that you personally enroll onto your sales team, you will earn 30% of the GP on any purchase. Now, if that's only $3, if it's a $3 purchase and you're getting 30%, okay, so it's 90 cents, but multiply that by your entire team. As you move up in rank, let me go to the next slide. As you move up in rank, the percentage continues because you start to unlock legs. So let's recap this real quick, and I'll look at the small, and you guys will no, I'm going to use the laser. All right. You have personal volume, right, that you're going to be wanting to generate. So that's your personal purchases, because how can you sell products that you don't use, right? It's like a guy coming to your house to sell tile who says, I've never installed tile, I don't use tile, I don't know anything about these tiles, but would you like to buy them because they're pretty? So you have to be using the products. All right, so you've got your personally generated volume. Now, if you don't, how else can you generate personal volume? If you don't buy it, use it for yourself, which would be dumb, but is it theoretically possible? Yes. Who's buying? If you're not, say it. Customers. If your auntie buys sheets every month, you could theoretically hit your PV through her purchases. All right? If you're a retail monster because you're an Amazonaholic and you're going to become a disrupt-a-shopaholic, say that 10 times fast, then you can generate personal volume without buying your own product. But that wouldn't be wise. Again, you need to know what you're doing in terms of the product. So you've got your qualified volume. That's going to come from your whole team. After your personal volume, your qualified volume is your whole team. Now, we don't tell you how many business partners to bring on board. In direct sales terms, we're not going to tell you how many legs to have. That's up to you. We don't have leg minimums, leg maximums, none of that. We're managed by leg maximums in terms of percentages, not number of legs. So you can't have, out of this 200 here, or for the Tetons, this 5,000 here, you can't have more than 35% of your total volume come from any one leg. So you can see, just, even if you're not good at math, you're going to need at least 3 legs to make this happen, because even if you have two teams that go crazy, you're never going to get past the 80% or whatever, or in this case 70. All right? So there are team requirements, so typically you're looking at 3. But there's no penalty for doing exactly 3 versus 10. You with me? There's no benefit, there's no advantage, there's no disadvantage. Team volume is team sales volume. It's about selling product, people, not about balancing teams. All right? Other than making sure these maximums don't reach. So, what we're looking at, these two right here are the global override. Nobody at this rank will ever earn less than that amount. In reality, people, when we ran our models, simulations, computer simulations, everybody, these first few ranks, everybody was maxing out. Was right at the maximum. And when you threw in that global override, it was pushing people well over that. Okay, so the averages were all closer to these numbers. Can't guarantee that, of course. But the point here is to say, this is the minimum you will ever see at that rank, and then depending on how you do, you'll get closer. Now, let me say one word about this before we talk about these tiers. You notice how from, let's talk about ascent, right? This is the highest of the first 5 tiers, the first tier 1 ranks. The difference from 1,500 to 3,000 is pretty significant. And you're thinking, well, the volume goes from 2,500 to 5,000. Well, if I'm hitting just 2,500 sales volume every month, I'm just qualifying for that rank, right? But what about the guy next to me on my team who's cranking 4,500 in volume? Well, he's not quite to the Tetons yet. He's closer than I am. But in a lot of comp plans, you'd be making the exact same thing. Why? Well, because that's your rank. You're both ascent, so you both get the same amount of money. Not here. Because you're going to get paid incrementally on your volume. So the guy with more volume qualifies for more of that global override that I was talking about. Remember I was talking about the company volume that gets sprinkled out to everybody? Well, you're going to get a heavier sprinkling if you've got more volume than the next guy. So it is possible to make more money. If you're getting 2,500, that's one thing. 3,500, 4,500, they will each make more along the way. So every sale counts. Every sale matters. There's no such thing as, well, I hit this. That's applause. I hit this, now I don't have to do anything until I get to that. So I'm not going to care until I get all the way here. No. It matters every step of the way. You're earning more along the way. You with me? That's a big deal. Because what we talk about, the percent of company CV, that's Disrupt Worldwide LLC. All countries, all sales, everybody. 40% of that is getting split up by everybody in Tier 1. So who's getting more of it? Well, the more volume you bring in, the more of that 40% you personally are getting. You with me? So the higher the volume, the more shares, if you will, shares you get of that 40%. Cool? 17.5% is reserved for tier 2 and shared among these guys. 7.5% is split up and shared among these guys. Why do the percentages get smaller? Because the math tells us that those will be less populated. Most people will hang out here, right? In this industry, most people hang out in the first 5 ranks. And that's okay, because not everybody's going to do this full time, right? It's okay. If he wants $500 a month, give him $600 and he's a happy camper, he'll never leave, right? So there's a way to split that up. Now, what about that generational bonus? Because that's just one thing. Now that generational bonus. These are the personal enrollments. In the first 4 ranks, you're benefiting from all your personal enrollments. 30% of the generational pay from all of your personal enrollments. Whether that's 5 or 5,000. All of them. Okay? Then, as you move up in rank, and so do your people, you start to unlock a generation, up to 7 generations deep. Now, if you're recording, I want you to memorize this. Generation is not the same as level. Let me say that again. A generation is not the same as level. Let me explain what a generation is. A generation goes from you all the way down one particular sales team, or one leg, if you guys want to use those terms, until you get to the next person who is ranked Ascent. Because you notice this first generation only kicks in when you get to Ascent. Once you hit Ascent, you unlock one generation beyond your personal enrollments. Now you get your personal enrollments plus all of their enrollments all the way down until you get to the next Ascent. It doesn't matter if it's 20 levels deep. Because if it's 25 levels deep of people in these first 4 ranks, that all comes to you.
Dang.
Okay? Now, these are all 10%. Because let's do the math with me. 7 generations times 10% is how much? Oh, seriously? Come on. 7 generations at 10% each is what? 70%. And how much are you earning on your personal enrollments? 30. Dig deep. 30% plus 70% is 100% of the gen pay. So that gen pay, to unlock all of it, as your rank goes up, so forget levels. It's about generation. If you are 50 levels deep before you get to the next Ascent, that is 1 generation. Now, what's the second generation beyond that? If you get to Tetons and you unlock the second generation, what's the second generation after that? It's from that Ascent to the next Ascent below that. So that could be another 50 levels. And you're getting 10% of that as well. Is that starting to make some sense? You guys, a generation is gigantic. It's not a level. Do not think I enrolled him, he enrolled him. That's 2. For the purposes of this commission part, the part of this plan, a level is not the same as a generation. Generation goes to Ascent. Just think of Ascent, because that's the first time you qualify is when you hit Ascent to unlock a generation, and it's the first time that person qualifies when they hit Ascent. So it makes sense, right? As soon as that person downstream hits Ascent, now they're eligible, so now that's part of your generation, and then you go to 2 to get below them. You with me? Is this beefy or what? Now here's the problem. The generational compensation, though, I mean, if you're going to go 50, 70 or levels deep for 1 generation, we have to cap that out. We got to max that. Oh, no, maybe we don't. Never mind. There is no max. If you want to sell a container ship full of headphones to somebody online and earn all of 30% of that gen pay for your personal enrollments and 10% for every generation after that, do it. Do it. I don't care how many headphones you sell, or sleeping bags, or whatever, online, or cookware, or whatever, you name it. Do it. There's no max on the gen pay. It just keeps going. Why? Because products are being sold. Is that clear? Does anybody like what I just said?